Welcome back to another episode of the Consistency Engine Podcast. I am one of your hosts, Dane Patton. With me, as always, Chase Collier. Good afternoon, Chase. How you doing today?
Doing good. Enjoying this last bit of summer before it possibly cools down a little bit.
Well, we'll see. Last week it was cool, and then it's hot again, and
yeah,
who knows what's going to happen.
You never know.
Yeah.
That's why we don't bet on the weather.
Yeah, just enjoy the every day as we can.
Yes.
That's pretty much how it goes. So whether it's hot outside, whether it's cold, whether it's rainy, whether it's snowy, we get the option to enjoy every day as it comes.
Yes, we get to pick our reaction to the weather and everything that happens to us.
Yeah. So we can sit there and we can it's going to be too hot and I can't do this, or I'm literally sitting here like most of my body is sunburnt right now because I was outside all day long yesterday and did not have the proper skin coverage as I should have. But you know what? We just deal with it and we keep moving forward. And I'm grateful for the chance that I was outside in the sun all day yesterday.
Leading by example.
Yeah. So today, idea that I wanted to talk about, and it's something that, my personal experience and it's about, what one person can do and one person's journey in personal development. And this might be something to be good for us to talk about for those listeners out there that are thinking about, I'm just me, if I do something, what's it going to impact? And I just kind of want to talk about, how important it is for people to realize that the impact that they can make, that ripple effect is so great if they decide to go on this journey of personal development and becoming that best version of yourself. And I was really just thinking about like all of the different avenues that I've been able to, personally touch, but also like people through me. And I just, and the reason that I want to talk about this is because I've had some people reach out to me here recently and just send me these nice messages and notes and stuff. And I don't even know who these people were, but they were impacted because, they read the chapter of my book, or they followed me on Facebook and they like the things I'm posting about. Or there was one person that was a friend of a friend that they found me through that and they were just following stuff that I've been talking about and that. And then even another one, somebody that listened to me speak at some point, they were in that room, didn't know who they were, out like, man, I've been working on this because you said this. And it really kind of caught me off guard, and I was just like, the impact that one person has is so great, and we have the ability to bring positivity and bring that message of hope and bring that message of, we can all do better if one person's doing better. And I'd love to talk about that with you today.
Yeah, it's a fantastic topic to talk on, and the ripple effect is so true. It's getting past, I think there's this mental roadblock of I'm doing all the right things, I'm posting the right things, I'm being motivational, and no one's saying anything. And the biggest truth behind that is there's so many people that listen and read it that do care, they understand, they appreciate, and then they learn something from you. But the majority of the time, people aren't going to come out of the woodwork and say something directly to you because they might be scared, they might have anxiety. It could be a number of different factors, but people do pay attention. And there's so many things floating around in the internet and the world today that is good and bad. And so many people focus on the bad, they focus on the fear, and that's what gets talked about. But it's truly the good stuff that is going to create more good and great for the community. We can dwell on the bad things. That's what news stations are built to do, is create fear. But that's not what we're about. We're about creating the good in other people. And if you're new in entrepreneurship, people probably aren't going to see your spark right away. It is just a spark to begin with until you ignite that flame into something bigger. And the more platforms you can get on, the books, the stages, the people that you're speaking in front of, both virtually and in person, the bigger your flame gets, the brighter your light shines. And I think there's a tipping point that you've started to hit, that people are reaching out to you. So don't be afraid to start shining your light, even if people aren't saying anything to you in the beginning, because it does get noticed and it does make a difference.
Yeah, we two ideas come to mind listening to you talk there, and one is that I've talked about plenty, that lighthouse effect. How we can't be a tugboat, we can't go and pull everybody around where we're hoping that they go. We have to be the example of the message that we're trying to share. So we got to show up that way, and we've got to be consistent with that message, and just be out there for everybody to see and to react and connect with. And then the other thing is that what we focus on expands. That idea too, and when it talks about positivity and that the message of hope and being that better version of yourselves and stuff like that. Like, if that's what we're focused on, or if we're focused on the fear and the politics and all the bad that happens, that's going to happen no matter what. But if we can be focused more on that positive and more on that good, more good things end up you're revealing themselves and showing up in your life if that's what you're focused on.
We've hit so many times on mission, vision, values, your purpose, and your impact that you want to leave. And if you do want to make a good change in the world, you're going to have to be vocal about it. And the more vocal you can be, the more people are going to notice. And it's just this snowball effect. And when you drop a small pebble in the water, it does make a small ripple effect. So just because you might have a small voice or a small stage to speak on right now does not mean that it's going unnoticed. At some point, yes, we all want to be the big boulder that's going to make a giant splash and get attention, but that's not where we start, and that's fine.
Well, and so few people are able to do that.
Yes.
But I want the message that I really want to share with people is those little pebbles. Man, if we have so many people out there that are sharing that message and showing up and doing it, and that when we say stages, we don't. Technical difficulties there. But what I was saying is that stage could just be your household.
Yes.
It doesn't have to be, like a stage or, in a conference room or something like that. That stage could be your social media channel. That could be your place of work. Wherever you show up and there's people around, how you carry yourself and the things that you talk about and you share with people, the food that you're putting into your body, all of that, like we are voting for every decision that we make. We get a vote for who we're trying to be and that next version of ourselves. So don't get caught up in thinking about like, well, I'm not this big guru, Grant Cardone or Alex Hormozy type or anything like that. Like we don't need more people like that. What we do need is we need more people that have a higher standard and have more and take care of the responsibilities that they need to take care of each and every day.
One of the things you hit on was your household. There is not many more important settings outside of your household. It's your spouse, it's your kids, it could be generations in there depending on what your household looks like. But if you are the shining light for your family, you are setting the example, you're setting the expectation and the standard. And as we try to continue and give positivity out there to the world, it starts with our kids, it starts with the people closest to us. And kids especially, they are the next generation. They are the ones that we're going to hand this relay race torch off to at some point. And it's our responsibility to make sure that we can help ignite the spark in them and give them as much preparation as we can for them to be the best they can be.
Yeah, that's one of the most important things is I've said it before, how can I invest into my kids, way more than they're ever going to be able to pay me back or return. And how they do that is learn from the example that I'm setting and the teachings that I'm sharing with them, and then go do something even greater and better with it. And that's for our kids, for our employees, spouses. You talked about our household, and we've talked about that breaking those generational curses. The way that we grew up is totally different than the life that we're living right now. My kids just got their passports like this last week, and Frank's 9, and I'm like, Frank has a passport at 9. I didn't get mine until I was 40. Like, how different of a life I'm living, or my kids are living from I'm living, and whether they're generational curses or not, I mean, curse might be a bigger thing. It's just we're introducing a world on a whole new level to them that we weren't introduced to.
Yes.
And so there's I feel a big responsibility on that, but then they're going to be able to take that, and they're going to have so many more experiences to cultivate, this great life like we've talked about before. And I mean, that's what I'm excited about, and I think that's why a platform like this is so important, because we can talk about that, we can share, because I know there's people out there that are living this life that they're just waking up and allowing it to happen. And it's so important to have that vision, we've talked about, and have that purpose, and then making those choices every single day and those decisions to go after it and get it. And you don't need, like I said, you don't need to be on a stage to do that. You just need to be doing it in the life that you live right now. And that's because that's how I started. I just kept showing up and doing the things that I needed to do, and reminding myself, and making the posts and doing all that stuff. And over time, it's been able to stack, those little pebbles on top of each other. And then I've got these big stepping stones into the things that we keep moving towards. And then guess what? I'm still feeling the same thing like I did back then. It's like, man, like I still have so much farther to go, even though I've come this far. But that's just how this goes, because there's never a finish line for personal development.
No, it's a continual thing. This topic I'm going to bring up, which relates to it, could be its own episode, but giving and or leading without expectation of anything in return. That is one thing that I think needs discussed, especially on this episode, is whenever we are out there on a stage of any sort, being positive and showing the value that we want to give in this world, you should not be doing it with expectation of people reaching out and people coming to you and thanking you and all of this stuff. Like, leadership in general is a pretty thankless job. But you are doing it because you see the value in it, you see the impact, and you see the purpose. So if you're somebody who wants to become a social media guru just to get the likes and the follows, you can do that, and there's a space for it. But I'm telling you from experience that you shouldn't be doing and saying and showing the things to get a reaction from someone. You should be doing it wholeheartedly from yourself for your purpose. And I think that just needs to be said, because we should be doing it for ourselves and for the impact that we can give to the community. It shouldn't be about chasing reactions from other people.
Yeah. I mean, that kind of level of thinking, when I think about that, they're just doing it because they want to make money, or how can they take this, this 15 minutes of fame and make some sort of monetary, goal off of it. And somebody left me a comment the other said, and they said that this happens to you because you show up, you give, and you care. And like that's all that it really is for me. Like, I'm just trying to be that version of me that I needed 10 years ago. And if I can do that for somebody else, and then they're reaching out and let me know. Like, most of the time, I'm still taken back by somebody saying that they followed me and they actually did something that I said or took my advice. Like, that's amazing. If I could get more people to do that, that's how we change lives. That's the impact. That's what this whole message is about, is one person's journey in personal development can create a lasting impact and ripple effect for everybody.
That summary of that comment you gave, I think, is a great summary of this episode, is show up consistently, give without expectation, and care for others.
Yeah.
Period. Because the whole point of this is finding the spark inside of us and continuing to let that grow and hopefully help others down the road. Where none of us are perfect. If someone is perfect, that's cool, but we all have our own imperfections. We all have our own challenges to go through. But the cool thing about a platform like this is that we are here, and we're here together, and we're going through the ups and downs and in-betweens together. And just from kind of building that community that I've built, you've built, is from going through tough times, but it's about seeing that spark in us and staying consistent through all of it.
Yeah. Which you were just talking about, something me and my family were on a walk the other day, and Frank was talking about when he grows up, is he going to continue to go to school, or is he going to get a job and start working and all that kind of stuff? And he's like, do you have to work, or can I just stay in school? And I was like, well, there's people that go to school for years and years and years. Yes. And I told him, I said, that it's funny. Like, we go to school to be, to learn a lesson so we can take a test. And I mean, that's kind of what school's like. I said, but if you decide that that's not the avenue that you want to go to, what's really fun is you move into this, we just call it your life outside of school. And life will give you a test that you have to learn a lesson from. And he was like, whoa, that's kind of cool. I was like, yeah, that's the epitome. Like, yeah, I'm not a college, I didn't go to college. I'm not educated that way or anything like that. We've both talked, shared our stories at the beginning of this and that, but life gave me that test, very early on, and I've just been, learning those lessons as I've gone, and it's been so fun to just see. And it's like, every time that when you talked about discomfort, like, let discomfort be your classroom. And how much I keep learning about myself, and how much I keep learning about my business, and how we treat our people, because it seems like every day there's a new discomfort that I wasn't planning for, wasn't thinking about. There's something new is going to happen and get thrown into the mix, and it's like, all right, well, we just keep learning, and we keep adapting, and we keep pivoting, and always worried about the people that we're trying to help. I mean, that's what it comes down to. If I was so focused on the money, I wouldn't be as successful as I have been, because it's more about the people. And so that was a couple good thoughts that I had when you're talking about. And then the one thing that I also want to talk about in this episode, because it pertains to this, is each of us have a story, and something to think about is our stories impact other people, and our story will allow other people to win, but it can also allow people to lose if we don't tell our stories.
Yes.
And how important that has been in my life, and sharing it with these people, and people in like inside my business. Like, I keep having people show up here and they keep winning because I'm living out this story and sharing it every single day.
Everybody has a different story to tell. You might have been best friends growing up. You could be siblings, but our stories are still different. It's kind of like when you hear or read a book and you've read it 5 times, and finally on the 5th time that one thing clicks. It's similar to hearing someone say something on stage that you've listened to 1,000 times, but all of our stories are different. The way we tell them are different. The things that we went through in our journey are different. I went to school for engineering. Like, I'm a nerd. I connect with a different analytical group of people more than some other speakers, but that's just how I'm wired. And everybody needs a story that they can connect with, because stories give hope. One of the things that I learned from an actual speaking coach who did some work with Tony Robbins is you can argue facts all day. If you and I get on stage and all we do is talk about facts, people will argue. But when you tell stories, you can't argue, because it's what happened to me and it's what happened to you. And no one knows but us.
Mm-hmm.
And when you can share your story and add a lesson or add value from it, that's where the power comes in to truly impact people.
Yeah, I love that, and it's so fun to be able to do stuff like this.
Yes.
And it's fun because I keep seeing changes in other people, and that's, like I said, I can't be that tugboat. I can't go around and just pull everybody to where they want to go. But if I just keep working on myself and being as vulnerable and open and honest with everything that I have going on, I am not perfect by any stretch of the imagination. I stumble, I fall, but I get back up, and I tell people about it, because everybody else out there is doing that same thing. And if they see me doing that, why, that gives them the permission to do it to themselves and show up and that. So it always gets me excited when I see you guys that follow, and then you start posting a lot of the kind of the same kind of ideas and stuff like that I'm posting. It's like, hey, you guys must be paying attention, and whether you reach out to me or not, like, I'm proud of you guys, and I'm happy to see it.
One of the last things I want to add, if we're getting close on time, is you said the word vulnerable. And part of it for me is one of my core values is transparency. But I think it is very hard to be authentic and tell your story if you are not being vulnerable and transparent. If people can smell and they can sense when a story is fake or something isn't right, and you're just saying something to look good. But when you add that piece of authenticity, vulnerability, transparency, and what truly happened, people know, and they latch on to that, and there's trust built because of it. And if you can't be authentic towards other people, are you being authentic towards yourself?
Yeah, that's a good one there. It's so true. Are you being true to yourself? Are you being honest with who you actually are? And if you're not, we've talked about the mirror before. Stand in front of that mirror, get rid of those excuses, quit telling yourself the lies, and just get truthful with who you are and what you want to do. The great thing about the next day is you have the ability to change that. You can make a decision and say, hey, I'm done. You don't have to say, I'm going to do it on Monday. You can say, I'm going to do it right now. Even if you screwed up this morning, you can say, hey, I'm done doing that. I'm done telling myself this lie. I'm done giving myself this excuse. I can just start today, start right now, and move forward. You don't need the perfect time. You just need right now.
Day one or one day.
That's right. All right. Well, this was another episode of the Consistency Engine podcast. We thank you very much for joining us here. If you're listening on the audio version, or if you're watching us on the YouTube version, we're just grateful that you're here. If this has helped you, impacted you, let us know. Reach out, leave us a comment, leave us a review, and we're happy to be sharing the journey with you.
Yes, and continue to find your spark, light your fire, and stay consistent and engineer it.